Good morning, and thank you all for being here again. Thank you for taking the time out and coming. What I'm going to do is I'm going to talk a little bit about the Carisma experience, what we've been having, and then in between, Debbie and Wazim are going to give a little bit of a presentation as to where things are up to now with Excalibur, and then I'll finish off again with a tool that you would likely see in the toolkit, because it's all about the toolkit really today and where we've been coming from and the reasons why we've put this together. And so I'll start with the reasons really, because over the past 10 years or so, we've gathered quite a lot of information, a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge and a lot of wisdom, which we have been using. And when we first started doing our work with Carisma 10 years ago, you know, we didn't have any labels or any names for the type of work we did, because I do remember somebody once saying to me, oh, you have a very good working model, what is it? And we thought, we don't know, we just do what it is that we do. So over 10 years, like I said, we've managed now to compartmentalize certain things and give certain things of the way we work, the models that we work with, give them certain labels. And I think in working with some academics as well, we've learned that, oh, you know, they give us certain labels and we think, oh, that's what we do. We do that anyway. Is that what it's called? But anyway, so very quickly, first of all about conflict, because I heard Charles say that, you know, some people think you can never get rid of it, but we have to keep trying. I think the journey to peace, or the journey on that road to peace, is such a long journey. And the thing is, you never actually get to the end of that road. Wanting peace, it will always go on. And so I usually like to start with this, that conflict just is. And I usually ask people, you know, when you were younger, and you were all young, you all went to primary school. For example, primary school, how did you know there was a fight when you were in the playground? Anybody, how did you know there was a fight? That's right. Somebody shouted, fight, fight, fight. And then what did we all do? You all ran and crowded round and watched. Now the thing is, young children, they still do that today. And they're not taught how to do it. I suppose it's learnt behavior. And the thing is, conflict, it just is. It's a fact of life. It happens. I think one of the things that we should learn to do is not necessarily not avoid it, because it's always going to be there. What we have to learn to do is how to manage it, how to manage conflict. And I think that's the challenge really, because it is a challenge in how to manage conflict. And that's what we've been doing over the 10 years, not just by ourselves, but other local people, organizations, corporate organizations, people that are in agencies, people from all different walks of life. That is what we've been aiming to do, is actually manage conflict and learn how to manage it. The Carisma experience of networking, mobilizing and advocating, networking people together in organizations. We've been bringing together lots of different people. And again, like I said, we didn't know we were networking when we were making our links with people, making our contacts, going to see people that worked in different hierarchies. No matter who they were, we wanted to network with them, get to know who they are, what is their purpose, how do they see our community, what can they do, you know, to help our community, to rid itself of the violent street crime that was happening, which was the gun crime, which was quite prevalent. Putting together joint activities where people could come together and work on an activity on issues that were similar to, you know, each other. Not just thinking that, let's say if I worked in the corporate world, I only work in the city centre, so gun crime is not my problem. It is your problem as well. The fact that you work here, it is your problem as well. Communicating relevance, that was one of the things that we found hardest. Communicating to people how relevant the issue of gun crime is to you, no matter where you work, no matter where you live. Communicating to them that it's important to you as well. That was something that was very difficult, but we've managed to do. Mobilizing people, basically less talk and more action. That's what we've done over the years, less talk, more action. Because we can attend meetings upon meetings, gatherings upon gatherings. I think the most important thing was what we actually decided to do out of those meetings, you know, away from those meetings, what you go away and do, or do we just come back again next week and talk about it again? Mobilizing people into actually doing something. Actually standing up, speaking out and contributing to peacemaking, peacekeeping and peace building, actually doing something about peace. I think that's what a lot of the activities what Carisma has put on over the 10 years have actually aided people to be able to do that, come together and actually be seen wanting peace, not just talking about peace. Advocating. Whilst we are an advocacy group and we do speak on behalf of people, it's been about communicating a truer picture as to what it's like living in particular neighborhoods. Rather than having people talk about us, we talking for ourselves. We giving people that truer picture, what it's really like living probably next door to a family where you know their 14, 15-year-old son was shot dead for no apparent reason. What is that really like? Getting people to actually really talk about that and talk about it ourselves in a positive way rather than the media talking about us in a negative way. And basically not speaking for people, because advocating for people is not about speaking for them, but giving them that platform so that they can speak for themselves. And then what you will find is that networking, mobilizing and advocating, it does all overlap. And where it overlaps, especially particularly in the middle, that's where you have real actions of transformative, responsive, and demand-led work. That's where it really happens in the center. When it all comes together and we're all working together, that's when you get real actions actually happen. Carisma's contribution, is that me clinking? We've contributed, now we know that we've contributed to practice and to theory. Like I said, we've just been doing what it is we do, and people have joined in to do what it is that we actually feel from our hearts is the best thing to do for our communities. But we have contributed to practice by providing, practical, inspirational things, activities, ideas for people to do, and for people to work in a completely different way from what they normally would work. For example, one of our great things that we used to do every Peace Week, because every year for 10 years we've organized Peace Week, where basically we've encouraged people to work together in a completely different way. And I was going to say, one of the things we really enjoyed doing was going into schools and delivering school assemblies. I remember in 1 week, our record was we delivered 19 school assemblies in a week. But the good thing about the assemblies was, not only were you able to deliver your peace message to about 500 or so children, but the real good thing about it was delivering a peace assembly with a police officer, going into a local school in Moss Side with a police officer, somebody's mum or dad standing up, delivering an assembly, but directing a police officer what to do. You blow up these balloons, you hold this for the children. And I remember it was a very powerful image for young people, because I do remember a few schools actually, where young people would come up to the police officer afterwards and say, "Are you a real officer? Are you a real policeman?" And that was simply because they'd never seen police officers in that context, blowing up balloons or playing with them or, encouraging them to do something else. In their small world, they only see police officers doing one thing, maybe arresting people, wrestling with people. So it was really lovely to hear children asking them, "Are you a real police officer? Do you really arrest people?" Well, that was good. The contribution to theory. Like I said, we never labeled our work theoretically. We just did what we did. But we found that over the years, the type of work we were doing, the model that was used was likened to that of building social capital. Now, social capital, the academics say, it comes in 3 forms: bonding, bridging, and linking. The bonding is where people from same ethnic group, who have the same identity, basically stick together. They stick together for the betterment, of themselves. They understand each other, they've got language in common, so they stick together. You've got the bridging of social capital, where it's people from different ethnic groups begin to then, link together or work together to try and understand each other. What's in my ethnicity, what's different from mine to yours, and let me appreciate the differences that you have so that we can work together. Because at the end of the day, we probably still, whether if I'm from Africa and you're from Europe or wherever, we've still got gun crime on our doorstep. So let's try and understand each other. And then you have the linking social capital. And that's the one where what we were doing, we found we were doing this, linking local organizations and individuals, linking them to actually work with people who worked in hierarchies. So those people of power, linking them together, working with them so that we then could ask our questions and talk to them and put our statements to them and let them know what it was like working with us. For example, I remember a very good one. We did a lot of work around stop and search. I remember we was at a Home Office meeting one time, all senior people there, and they're going through all the stop and search figures nationally, and they got to Manchester and they went, oh, we don't have a problem with stop and search in Manchester. And we're sat there going, yes, you do. They go, no, we don't. The figures say, no, we don't, because people don't complain. And we were like, well, people don't complain because they don't want to go back into a police station to complain to a policeman who's, wronged them in the first place. And we were like, no, there is a problem with stop and search. And they were like, no, there isn't. We're saying, yes, there is. You need to come and look. And that was good because eventually we did convince the Home Office to come down to Manchester, and we did about 3 consultations with young people and senior officers. So again, it was about giving those young people the voice to be able to speak for themselves and talk about their experiences of their stop and search. But that was the linking social capital. And the toolkit is available, it is here, and it's our way of, as it says up there, thinking of conflict positively. And you probably think, can you think about conflict positively? Yes, you can. And that's what we've been doing. And we've put together, like I said, quite a few tools and case studies in the toolkit, which is available today. And one of the things I want to do with you is go through one of the tools which I picked up along the way, and I have to make reference to Nabil Uday, who actually first he wrote a book, for those of you who like to go and research things, and his book is called Conflict is for the Birds. But I've actually changed it a little bit, and I've put resolution is in the birds. Have you got it there? Okay, that's one there. Now, what it actually goes through is 5 distinct conflict management styles, which basically help you to identify who's around your negotiating table. So who is it that you're actually going to be negotiating with, talking with, trying to understand where they're coming from so that you can actually get to put your message across to them. And I've used birds, because he uses birds, and I think that's the easiest way to try and put this across. There's a woodpecker, an owl, a hummingbird, an ostrich, who's very slow, and a parakeet. Now, I'll quickly take you through these, because I think this is a brilliant tool. You've got the woodpecker. Oh, I was going to have a microphone here, but it's okay. I don't know if you'll hear this. But you have the woodpecker sort of person who's at a negotiating table, and they're the people that are very decisive, they're very impatient. They usually come in and go, look, we haven't got a lot of time here, we've only got a little bit of time, so let's get to the point, let's make a decision so that we can all go home very quickly, because I just want to get this over and done with. That's usually, that's usually a woodpecker kind of person, very bossy, very direct. And you might identify yourselves here, actually. Then you have the owl. Now, the owl tends to ask lots of questions, doesn't really seem to get to the point. They do a lot of talking. And as you can guess, the woodpecker's probably fed up by now, thinking, oh my God, just hurry up, just hurry up. But the owl, the wise old owl, they're the one that speaks very calmly like this and says, look, we can all get to a decision here. We just have to take our time and know what it is we're actually asking each other. Okay? And they usually state how, whilst the woodpecker comes in and states how very short time you've got, the owl comes in and states how long you've got to discuss things. Then you've got the hummingbird. Now, usually, as it says, it describes, characteristics there. But again, the hummingbird, they want a quick resolution. They're wonderful at finding resolutions as well. They just want things to happen very quick. But they're usually very happy people. And they go around making sure everybody's all right. You got a pen? Does anybody need a cup of tea? Are you all right? Have you got coffee? Do you want this? Well, I'll get that. Oh, don't worry, I'll do it. They're those kind of people that you always have there as well. And they feel that they can handle anything. Oh, don't worry, I'll do it. I'll sort it out. I'll get it. They can't really sort it out, but they're that kind of person. Then you've got the ostrich. You could probably guess what the ostrich is like. I haven't even got a noise for the ostrich. I couldn't find one, actually. Basically, the ostrich kind of person, they're the kind of person that sits on the fence. Never make any judgments, never make a decision. They actually avoid conflict. They'll actually leave a room. If there's conflict going on and they don't want to make it, they'll actually leave and ignore it and think, It's nothing to do with me. They're those kind of people. What was I going to say? Yeah, they actually don't actually make a decision at all when they come to something. They actually don't even know why they're in a meeting. If you ask them, they'll go, oh, I don't know what's going on. Conflict? What conflict? Oh, I'm just here because my boss told me to come and be here. I don't really know what's going on. I'm just here just because I was told to come. Then you have the parakeets. Now, they tend to agree to everything. But if it's right or wrong, they just agree. Yeah, I can see that working. Oh, but I can see that working as well, you know. And they're the ones, like it says, they usually say, you know, look, we can all get along together here. We've all known each other for a very long time, so let's just all get along. There's not really any conflict. But I understand your point of view, but I understand yours as well. They don't really, they're just trying to keep, you know, trying to keep a balance. And they usually say, you know, yes, that people have known each other for a long time. And then I've got down here that usually, by now, it says here that owls like the parakeet because they're very nice. You know, they're usually very nice people. The woodpecker loves the parakeet because if you ask the parakeet to jump, they just say how high and they just start jumping. They just do as they're told, you know. But usually, when you have all these, people, all these personalities together, you know, in a room, what you'll find is your woodpecker kind of people, they usually get fed up. They've gone. They will leave before the end of the meeting because no decision is being made to the speed that they want it to happen. They've usually gone. The owl is very confused, and usually the ostrich has gone to sleep. So I just wanted you to identify which one you are. And basically, I've put this final slide up there. It's about responsive conflict, being responsive to conflict, because that's what we've tried to do over the years. Be responsive rather than reactionary. Ask questions. Why are people in conflict? Or why are people upset? Why are they behaving the way they're behaving? What's their real problem? And I think Charles touched on that, trying to get to the bottom of the issue rather than just skimming around the surface. And I'll end there. Thank you.